So welcome to a new Team CGC 9.8 video, and with the new Joker movie coming out, I thought I'd share with you guys my Joker CGC 9.8 comic book collection, and a few issues came to mind sort of related to the movie, so we'll get right into it. First off, a bit off the map for this issue, but an issue I picked up sometime last year, but Batman 450. So this issue is not really a key issue at all, but with the new Joker movie, you know, it doesn't really seem like he's like battling Batman the whole movie or anything. It's more of like an origin story. So this Batman 450, kind of little known, it's actually has a brief origin of Joker, and obviously a really cool cover. Sorry. And yeah, but you know, Batman 450 definitely not a key issue. I had to look at the CGC ratio, and it was 46%. So basically, 46% of all Batman 450s are CGC 9.8s. So certainly not a real rare issue in the high grade. But given brief origin of Joker, really cool cover. It, you know, really does relate to the Joker movie, being that it seems to be more of like an origin story rather than, like I said, like him just fighting Batman and stuff like that. Good thing about this issue, it's quite affordable. So this one I picked up for $100 Canadian, and you know, it's about 20 bucks to ship it here. So about 120 bucks all in Canadian, and I've actually seen them for less, so this was kind of like a buy it now, but you could probably get your hands on one for like 80 bucks Canadian. Maybe is probably the lowest price you're looking at. So you know, obviously like 15% or so less in American dollars. But yeah, you know what? I wouldn't recommend this book as like an investment or anything, but you know, because it's so easy to find in a 9.8. Being that, you know, 46% of all graded copies are 9.8s. That's not like a very rare ratio. But just the overall coolness, and I think it is sort of an underappreciated Joker cover. So definitely one, if you are on a budget, you can certainly look for. So Batman 450. Now, the other issues here, and this is, you know, one of my favorite issues ever, pretty much, is Batman 366. So I have two copies. I got one in the direct edition and another one in the newsstand edition. And you know, this is pretty much one of my favorite issues ever. So you know, last year I wanted to. Well, I picked up the newsstand first, and this one came up as an auction, and I got a really good price on this one. I thought. This one was 200 bucks Canadian, and for the newsstand, I bought it as a buy it now, and yeah, I pretty much had to pay up. It was like maybe $320 something, you know, after taxes and shipping, definitely over $350 for the newsstand, which, you know, is a bit of an overpay, but still, like, so happy to have a newsstand copy of 366. So 366 is the first time Jason Todd becomes Robin, so it is somewhat of a key issue. But obviously for me, it's all about like the cool Joker cover, and it's a bit of a love or hate cover. I know some people hate it. I personally love it. I think, you know, with the Batman on the building, it's, you know, it doesn't probably look as, you know, 100%. It's pretty intricate and maybe doesn't look that cool to some people, but what is cool, I think, is the Joker here. You know, he's got sort of dually awesome little cool handguns, so it's really kind of like dark, and that's, you know, kind of what you expect of Joker, and kind of sort of how this new movie seems to be sort of shaping up, where it's like his origin story, and it's, you know, really dark, obviously, being that Joker's a deranged villain. So it's obviously got he obviously has to go through some issues in the movie. But this I think it's it's a pretty underrated Joker cover, I would say. And for investment, like the CGC ratio on this of 9.8, it's 31%. So 31% of all Batman 366s are 9.8s, and that's pretty high for, it's not too rare. Like for example, like Batman 423 is 16% of those are 9.8s, and that's kind of one of for a Batman issue of that generation, a pretty rare 9.8. Whereas this 31%, it's almost double, so not quite as rare. And yeah, you do see quite a lot of 366s popping up, rough copies that are like in near mint. I have a rough copy that is near mint too. It's pretty much a 9.8. I might end up sending that into a CGC eventually. But yeah, a little bit easier to find in a super high grade, but equally as cool. And yeah, like just with the Joker with the dually wielding guns, and yeah, it's a Walt Simonson cover. I think, even though it is, not quite as rare in the 9.8s, I think these will actually be pretty good investments down the line. It is from the low run Batman. So Batman had a low print run from, I think it was Batman 357 up to Batman 402 maybe, or 401, were low run prints. So this is a part of that. So there wasn't, relatively, there wasn't very many printed back in the 80s. Especially compared to like Spider-Man and everything, the Batmans weren't printed that much. So in general, that's kind of a good reason to invest in these. But I mean, such a cool cover, Joker cover. You get first Jason Todd as Robin, so it is a key, and somewhat affordable compared to like Batman 357 or Batman: The Dark Knight Returns, which is another big key. This I feel is kind of right on that level or getting up to that level. So I think these are definitely investable. And just such cool covers that I just feel like you want them no matter what, even if they weren't a good investment. They're just so cool. So glad to have two of these. And yeah, again, for this one paid about 200 Canadian, which was a really good deal, I thought. And this one was probably about 350 Canadian for the newsstand, a little bit more rare in the newsstand, but did kind of pay up for this. So hopefully, if you are looking for a 366, you could pick one up for 200 American, maybe even less than that, then I think you're looking at a steal. So Batman 366, and we talked about Batman 450, and of course this one, The Killing Joke, is sort of, I've read that this new movie is loosely based on The Killing Joke. So this Killing Joke, obviously it's the first print, this one here. And yeah, I had a look on the CGC census too. Like 45% of all graded Killing Jokes are 9.8s, which I thought was really high. I didn't think it was that high. So not quite rare in the 9.8. And yeah, Killing Joke, it does seem to be, this is actually one of the first CGC comics I think I bought. And just, being a Batman fan, and it's not too expensive. I think I picked this up for about 220 bucks plus 20 bucks shipping, so 240, let's call it, all in. And that's Canadian. So yeah, I think, American, if you can find, one for 150 bucks, you're looking at a pretty good deal there. But, yeah, being that it's not very rare in the 9.8s, I wouldn't really recommend this as an investment. Yeah, it's just not rare enough. It's quite new. Obviously, in the first print, it's definitely a cool buy. If anyone's seen like the animated series or the animated movie of The Killing Joke, it's a really cool movie. And and prices, just having a quick look, I didn't really notice much of a pop for this Joker movie. And I actually was sort of getting ready to do a Batman video that Batman comics were in a really good spot to buy right now. But now with this Joker movie coming out, I'm not too sure of that, but it doesn't really seem to be affecting the prices too much. I expected kind of the Killing Joke maybe to have a bit of a pop off of the Joker movie, but I'm not seeing too much of a pop on like eBay prices or anything. So yeah, I think, you know, just the fact that it's not very rare in the 9.8s, and it's a really like sought after, it's sort of one of those books where, I mean, I've basically did it where, you know, I was sort of new to collecting, and it's one of the first books I bought because, you know, it's only about $200 and, you know, you're not breaking the bank, so it's kind of a good book to dip your foot in. But as far as like seeing appreciation down the road, like, you know, is this going to be worth $500 in, you know, 5 or 10 years? I probably don't think so personally. Again, not really rare in the 9.8. Pretty easy to find. There's quite a lot of them for sale. And if they were going to pop, I feel like they probably would have popped on this Joker movie already. So, yeah, really cool book to have. Definitely, I mean, if you're a Batman Joker fan, buy it. I mean, you know, you don't, you know, buy what you love. You don't, not everything has to be like an amazing investment. But the Killing Joke first print, so out of these three, I would definitely recommend Batman 366 as an investment, and totally would recommend the other two if you're just a big Joker fan, and especially Batman 450 I feel like is just sort of off the map, and not a lot of people really know about it because it's not a key issue. So that would be a cool one to pick up, especially if you were on a budget. So yeah, thanks for watching this video. Definitely wanted to share with you some of my Joker covers when you know, I saw the new Joker movie. It looks really cool, so can't wait to see it with the origin of Joker. Joaquin Phoenix is great. I think he's a really good actor, so I think it'll turn out awesome. And you know, hopefully the hype kind of builds, and then when it opens, everyone likes it, and maybe we get a decent pop on our Batman books. But that's it for this video here. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel, keep watching, and I'll see you on the next video.